What's up guys, welcome to another video, and today it is the time to preview the German Grand Prix for this weekend. I got my little helper back again.
Hello!
As so many of you enjoyed her appearance the other day. So Ginger's going to help me as well in bits of this, and we're going to talk about what makes it cool, what makes it a great race, because it is a great race. Another spectacular old school circuit coming off the back of Silverstone and of course the Red Bull Ring as well, so we should be in for a treat. But what is it about the German Grand Prix that makes it a challenge for the teams, and what can we expect looking forward to it this weekend? Okay. Got an audience. Well, Ginger and I were looking forward to having a little paddle in the river there, but
looks like the cows didn't want us to.
So Hockenheim then, it's a brilliant old school circuit, not quite the circuit it used to be, but I guess we can say that for lots of tracks these days. But it is a great circuit, and it has a little bit of everything on it. I'm going to show you a lap of course on the Xbox a little bit later on, but it has a real mix of corners, and whereas we often talk about some circuits being longitudinally limited, whereby it's all about braking and traction events, others where it's laterally limited in terms of your lateral grip levels going through corners and the loads that puts through the tyres. Hockenheim, I guess, is somewhere in the middle of that. It's a kind of finely balanced, quite a nicely balanced circuit, and that means for an engineer, for a team, it's actually exactly what you want in terms of setting the car up. So you can look for your perfect balance much more than having to compromise like you have to on lots of other circuits. So personally, I love it. What about you, Ginger?
Yeah!
You love it?
Yeah!
It was never one of those places I enjoyed going as a race mechanic, incidentally, that much, just because, and this has no bearing on the race, but just because the town where we used to stay and all the towns around Hockenheim were never the busiest, never had the greatest sort of nightlife, if you like. There are some places, if you go and search them out, and of course we did, but it was never one of those really sort of interesting places that and I apologise for anyone who lives in that area, but it was never one of the bustling city races that I used to really love. Just have a look for a recipe.
I found one.
Right, now because of the nature of the Hockenheim circuit, because it's not got a particularly abrasive surface, because of the demands on tyres, as I said, not being overly one way or the other in terms of longitudinal, latitudinal, it's not that demanding, which means we can often see a one-stop race around here, really quite long extended stints, and because of that we found that Pirelli will naturally bring the middle three compounds of their range of dry tyres. That's exactly what they've done this time around. So don't expect any major characteristics to be limiting in terms of tyres. We shouldn't get graining, we shouldn't be wear limited, we shouldn't get blistering, anything like that. The temperatures, if they're as extreme as we think they might be, could lead to blistering, but it's not one of the predominant limitations with tyres around this circuit. So a pretty average circuit when it comes to tyres, and that's exactly what Pirelli have brought. Right, Ginger and I, because it's so hot outside here in the UK today and we're just getting a bit of shade, Ginger's decided that we want to make cookies today, chocolate chip cookies. Now I can't pretend I'm an expert in that field, but have you found a recipe?
Yeah, I found this one.
Excellent. Right, so Ginger and I have just been to the shop and bought all the ingredients for what I hope will be a pretty epic set of cookies. It's going to be chocolate chip and
marshmallow.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Right, should we start mixing it all up?
Wait, Dad, you haven't talked about Aero yet.
Good point. Aero at the German Grand Prix then. We haven't spoken about that yet. Well, what do you reckon?
Well, it's got a mix of fast straights and slow corners, so probably about medium.
Spot on. Yeah, so around medium for aero levels, because it's, as with every circuit it is a compromise still, because you've got to compromise between the straights and the corners. It's just that there isn't a predominant area like there is at most circuits in terms of where you would favour your aero, so it ends up being around about the middle, exactly like she said.
Can I try and crack one?
Yeah.
Well, that one failed.
You got most of it in.
Yeah.
How does this thing work? This is one of those gadgets your mum's bought, and no one's ever used it, so no one knows how it works. So tell everyone what we've just done to make chocolate chips.
We put the chocolate in the bag, we went outside and smashed it on the table.
Right, let's quickly talk about the temperature in Hockenheim. Yeah, go on then, carefully. Because this weekend in Hockenheim it's supposed to be hot, and I mean hot. And we all know what happened last time we had a seriously hot race just down the road in Austria. Mercedes suffered, and they suffered massively to the point where they couldn't operate their car at its full potential, and we all know what happened. They were well and truly beaten. And it looks like it's going to be up near those temperatures again. There's a massive heat wave sweeping across Europe right now, and it's going to affect this weekend. Interestingly, and I don't think for a second this is why they've done it, Mercedes look like they painted their car white for this weekend as a special celebration of their history of motorsport at Mercedes. So that will have a positive effect, I guess. That's white is obviously a better colour to have your car painted in those temperatures than perhaps grey. So I'm sure that wasn't the intention, but maybe that will help by a degree or two in just deflecting or reflecting some of that sunlight away from the car, but we'll have to see. Will they be affected? They have had a chance, of course, to come much better prepared to this race. There's a new chassis, so there will be new parts. I'm pretty sure that lots of the issues they had in Austria won't surface in Germany. A, because they know what happened in Austria and they're now much better prepared for it, but B, they have had time to bring some parts through the system that will help with that. So hopefully for their sakes it won't be the same kind of instance, but I guess from a neutral's perspective, well, it'd be quite good, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Oh look, the machine's gone green, shall we? How does this thing work? Why is this not working? Should we call Mummy?
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be baking cookies. That's embarrassing to have to call Mummy and ask how the... I mean, surely just press a button. Well, I don't even know how that happened. Oh, there we go, there's a lock button. Right, you hold that. Right, cookies are in the oven, and I cannot even begin to describe how good this kitchen smells right now. It's good, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Cannot wait for those, they're epic. But in the meantime, I'm going to go and do a quick lap on the Xbox, which you can watch me terribly, probably, driving around the Hockenheim ring. So let's watch that now. Right, here we go then. In qualifying, the end of your preceding lap is all about getting this slingshot across the line. DRS zone entering there, pit lane to your right hand side. Down one gear, little dab on the brakes, using all the curb, and then into a second DRS zone immediately, flat out, again up towards turn 2. Here it's a big stop, getting it slowed down, bit of understeer, and then back over to the right hand side so we can catapult onto this now very long curved straight. Another DRS zone, flat all the way through here. You can imagine Ferrari's straight line speed advantage really playing into their hands. This is a big stop, and just look into the distance there with that forest. That's where the old circuit used to go, disappearing off through the trees. But now the new part of the circuit, sector 2, really tight right-hander, frustratingly slow before back onto this flat out section again. A lot of flat out, full throttle. Little kink here, no lift, no braking before we come into this section here in front of that Mercedes Stadium, the grandstand to the right-hand side. Drifting the car back to the left, using the curb, outside, inside, curb again on the outside, flat out. coming now towards the stadium section. A little lift, but then hard on the throttle again. This is the section where Mercedes could really start to come back into it during this lap. This is a cambered corner here, but this is where the slower section of the track starts. The slower corners, the corners that are really going to favour that Mercedes chassis. Brand new chassis for them, of course, this time around for Hockenheim. It's going to be lighter as well, which will give them a better burst out of these slow corners. More power to weight ratio. The final section then is twisty, it's tight, it's slow. Using some of that curve, not too much though, before we get back onto the throttle across the DRS zone again, crossing the start finish line there, and we do another lap, do it all over again. There you go, told you it wasn't going to be the best lap ever. But now that that is done, you've seen your way around the track, we've talked about what the challenges are for teams, what sort of race we might be able to expect. Ginger now has this week's prize from the GP box to give away, and it is another brilliant one from artist that you've seen before, Joel Clark. There it is, look at that. Now, because this week Ginger is undoubtedly star of the show, she is going to decide how you can win this week's prize. So, over to you.
Well, this week how you will win that prize is you are going to comment in the best joke, and whichever one makes me and Rex laugh the most is going to be the winner.
I love it, brilliant. So, in the comments below this video, send Ginger and Rex, who'll be back later on, your favourite joke. The one that will make, kid-friendly obviously, the ones that will make Ginger and Rex laugh most of all, and it will be totally their decision, will win this week's prize. So all you need to do, comment below with a joke, and you need to put in the hashtag GPBGER. Hashtag GPBGER, and that will enable us to find them all. Ginger and Rex will go through them all on Monday after the race, and whichever one makes them laugh most, which I'm really looking forward to, will be the prize winner this week. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much to the gpbox.com. If you haven't checked out their site, go and do it please, it is brilliant. And specifically this week's artist of choice, Joel Clark, he's got some amazing stuff on his page at the gpbox.com. I will link it all in the description. I will also run through again exactly how you can win this week's prize in the description as well. But for now, thanks very much for joining us. We're going to go and eat cookies. Oh, should we get the cookies out and show them?
Oh yeah.
Stand by. Check them out. Now, that's the best ones. The others, I don't think we left enough space between each cookie because they've all kind of melted into each other. But they look good though.
That one's safe.
They're hot.
I know.
Can't wait to eat them. See you later.